The Suzuki Swift Sport ZC33S. The third generation Swift Sport in South Africa. While maintaining the underpinnings of what made the last two generations of Swift Sports great, that being agile simplicity, the ZC33S makes use of Suzuki's new hardtech platform. Because of this lovely platform, you maintain structural rigidity, you get better ride quality, and you lose weight. I mean, this car is only 970 kilograms. Not only that, we have a new engine too, the 1.4 litre booster-jet technology turbo engine. I mean, booster-jet, the name sounds cool, does it not? So we have 103 kilowatts, which is only 3 kilowatts more power than the previous gen Swift, but we see a torque bump from 160 Newton meters to 230. Handling wise, this braked us all round with the tried and trusted choice for suspension, Monroe. Rubber wise, we have Continental premium contact tires in the front and factory Yokohama Advan A13s in the rear. We're riding on 16-inch wheels locally, which is 1 inch down from the international variants. Mod-wise, on this particular vehicle, we have a Powerflow Randberg catback exhaust and a custom in-development induction kit with a tweaked performance air filter. Alright, enough gab, let's fire the cheeky motor up. Shall we drive? You know, in my eyes, there's not many brand new entry-level fun hatches here in South Africa. You maybe have the Volkswagen Polo Vivo GT, which is 36,000 Rand cheaper than the Swift Sport, and in spite of me not having driven a Vivo GT, believe me when I say it has been a mission to test drive one of these because TayeedzSA made it a pain in the ass to do so, yet it's so damn easy to test drive a Swift Sport, and I should stop moaning and continue with the video before I get any more annoyed at VW, oh no! The Swift Sport is objectively and subjectively miles better than what the Vivo GT is offering. It's insane what Suzuki did with the Hardtech platform. This car is way more comfortable than the previous generation, but just as nimble, and the light platform complements the Monroe suspension so well. It handles really well. The booster jet engine, while not an M16A from the previous gen, which is non-turbo, is developing a cult following of its own. It's a cheeky, eager motor and reminds me of the Japanese hatches from the 90s. Starlit Glanzer maybe? Well, some of you can decide on that. The only thing I can kind of knock off points from is the fact that this car from factory desperately needs better tires. The car just wants to wheel spin, even in factory tune. I mean, the 17s would have been a nice little option to have and would have helped in a sense because it's easier and cheaper locally to get good tires for the car, but unfortunately that's not the case here. It's a bit of a problem to get 16s, especially in the odd size that the Swift Sport has. Also, the local aftermarket scene just isn't playing with this car. Overseas, R&D has taken off, but here local tuners and fabricators are barely dipping their toes in the water for this car, except for maybe a select few people. And I mean, the potential is seriously there with this vehicle. With just basic modifications, I rate you can have something similar in power to the current generation Polo GTI, but at a cheaper price, and it's a lighter vehicle to boot. It's no surprise why in the UK and Japan, for example, that you get the likes of CTC Performance and a bunch of JDM manufacturers developing parts for this very car. It's taking owners like these and passionate groups like the SwiftSpeed South Africa Club to drive the message that, hey, these cars are pretty competent. The common motoring folk here in South Africa will scoff at you for not buying a Polo GTI, which is honestly a different beast in and of itself, and it has its own merits and drawbacks. But you can't deny the fact that Suzuki made something special here. The fact that South Africans were even able to have this vehicle on sale and not have it detuned even on the boat ride over does make me wonder, why don't people look at these cars more? A big thank you goes out to the owner of this vehicle and SwiftSpeed South Africa as well for rounding up passionate owners like these. If you have a Suzuki and would like to join, please follow their social media here. The stuff is going to be on screen. Anyways, it's TayeedzSA here, guys, and that's all she wrote. Sharp.